Hello, I'm Jesse with American Radon Mitigation. I had my team come up with some get-to-know-you questions, so I'll rattle through a few of them that we got. The first one is, where was your first job? And I've kind of got two answers to that. So when I was a kid, I started going to work with my dad when I was 3 years old. So I'd do summers working with dad. When my mom and my siblings, went to the wave pool or the beach or something, I'd say, nope, I'm going to work with dad. And I'd carry him brick one by one. My dad also worked with his brother a lot, my Uncle Jeff. And my cousin Jimmy, who's 11 months older than me, would go to work. We'd have dirt ball fights. It's actually how I got the stitches right here on my forehead. Our dads yelled over the wall, hey, no more dirt ball fights. And the last one, wouldn't you know it, that he threw was a rock. So I got stitches and a BB gun out of the deal, and I think he cried harder than I did. Second official job that I got paid for was when I turned 11, I started going to work for my Uncle Jim. He owns a lawn service, and he did a lot of townhomes. So he would pick us up in the morning in the summers, pick up me and three of my other cousins. We would pick up shrubs. My Uncle Jim would trim them, and then we'd come behind and clean the tops off, rake them up, and then we had two of us would shred back, so suck up the leaves and the smaller leaves and stuff. What I wanted to be when I grew up was a dog rancher with my cousin Jimmy. We used to work at a place called Armstrong Kennels, or our dads used to do work there, and I think that's maybe what planted that seed of wanting to be a dog rancher. How I got into radon mitigation is all thanks to my Uncle Jeff. He's a realtor at Edina Realty, and back in 2014 when they passed the Radon Disclosure Act, radon started becoming a pretty big deal here in Minnesota with a real estate transaction. So he said to my dad and I, hey, this radon's becoming a big deal. You guys should look at getting into it. Jeff Blitz, the owner of Inspecta Homes, was speaking at Edina Realty like the next night about radon testing with the realtors. So we went to that, and on the way home from it, my dad's like, I'm doing it. Are you in? And I said, yeah, sure, let's do it. What do I do when I'm not doing radon? And the answer is kids ministry. So I'm super excited about that. That's kind of my newfound passion. I love it. So I teach every other weekend. I'm like a team leader, director, small group leader the other weekends. So I love connecting with kids. Third graders are kind of my sweet spot. Some of my other favorite YouTubers are Essential Craftsman. If you haven't checked that out, it's an awesome YouTube channel. And they actually built a house from the ground up just for YouTube. So if you haven't checked that out, check out Essential Craftsman. They also do like blacksmithing and stuff like that, but the Spec House series was my favorite. And then another one that I recently got into a couple months ago is Ghost Town Living. So check that out as well. My favorite book would probably have to be Simon Sinek, Start With Why. My favorite song would have to be Promised Land by Toby Mac. At least that's my favorite right now. And my favorite artist is Lauren Daigle. Favorite food used to be lasagna. Now I'll settle for anything that's just a home-cooked meal. Nickname when I was growing up, thanks to my aunt Kathy, is Jess Turds. Last vacation was August of last year, 2021, and I just got in my pickup and headed west. Drove through the Bighorn Mountains, checked out Yellowstone, kept going to Idaho, contemplated going to Yosemite because that's on my bucket list. Got to spend some time with my cousin Nick, who works in one of the national parks just south of Yellowstone. And the highlight of the trip was spending some time in the Bighorn Mountains because Yellowstone was just so busy. There were people everywhere. And the Bighorn Mountains, like you could only see a person or two on the trail. So that was really cool. Favorite radon fan would have to be the Fantech RN2 EC. That is the fan to use if we want to nerd out on energy efficiency, because we can dial it into exactly the setting we need. Most used tool would probably have to be a light, which is pretty boring, or a tape measure, which is also pretty boring. Tool that I did not think I needed, but I use all the time, is my sewer camera. And I bought it for my sister's house because it's a very difficult to mitigate house. I was searching for plumbing, and a buddy of mine owns a plumbing company. He had a sewer camera that he didn't use very often. So we bought that from him with a locator, and we use it all the time. It's super helpful. I didn't realize how compromised drain tile was until we started scoping it. So we use it on most houses that have drain tile. We can see right where it is with the locator, like, hey, it's right here and it's 10 inches down. We're gonna core right here. We don't have to core here and then dig over to it, so it saves us a lot of time. And then we can also run it down plumbing because, as you know, if you watch any of our other videos, we can see where the plumbing is, or we want to be next to plumbing. Oftentimes, if it's a sub-slab depressurization system, because there's settling that occurred there. So we don't have to guess where the plumbing is, or go down in a spot that's maybe less convenient than we want, just because we can see where the main drain is. So sewer camera. So Lynn's got the question, 3 or 4 inch radon vent pipe, and it depends on airflow. So we might use 2 inch, 3 inch, or 4 inch. Chad Robinson uses 1 inch pipe. So it totally depends on airflow, especially with today's PVC prices. You want to make sure that you're engineering that system and not putting in pipe that maybe you don't need. Inside or outside radon system, definitely not outside. I hate exterior radon systems. They are easier to install, they're cheaper, but they are ugly. So that's the big one, they're super ugly. They are susceptible to freeze up in the winter, so we can now offer heat cable, but by the time you put in the heat cable, you might as well just go inside. I understand there are some houses that you can only put in an outside system, like a story and a half is a good example with like a detached garage. We get a lot of those in like Minneapolis and St. Paul. So yes, I definitely prefer the radon fan in the attic, where the only thing you see on the outside of the house is just that foot of pipe that comes through the roof, and we paint it to match the house. The hardest job I've ever done, a school that I worked on in the Minnetonka area, that wasn't really hard. It was out of my wheelhouse because I think it was our first school. Josh with the Department of Health helped with that. So he helped give me some confidence in kind of our plan and helped me come up with a plan. So that was 3 suction points, or 3 different systems to treat the school. Really cool. I got to work in tunnels, and it was just something different. We got to work in a lift, and I was like, I don't know, 28 feet off the ground or something like that. But that was a really cool job, new experience. I would love to do more schools because you can help a ton of kids. And I love kids, if you didn't get that already. Most difficult residential job, and it wasn't so much that it was difficult to do, it was just a lot of work. And we have that stitching video, so we'll put the link for that here. So that was a job out in Stillwater, just a really big house, lots of stitching. And then the hardest part of it was filming it. So I had the camera crew there, they were there for 4 half days. It took me 6 days to do the job. And just with a camera crew, you don't get anything done. It's like 20 minutes to set up a shot sometimes, and it just takes forever. So the best part of radon mitigation for me is being able to help other families and make their homes safe. So when I'm bidding a job, I like to think of it as my sister is buying that house. So my sister Kelsey is gonna live there with her family, and I don't have any kids, but I have a heart for kids. So I'm thinking, hey, Henry, Walt, and Evelyn are gonna live here. How would we mitigate it? I love being able to help families get their radon levels low. So especially when the family that we're helping has kids, there's just something about that I love. Well, if you've watched this long, thanks for watching. If you have any other questions you'd like to know, leave it in the comments below. I'm Jesse with American Radon Mitigation. Thank you so much for watching.